Welcome back with me for another Sims 4 speed build. I don't want to say that this is my dream house because I don't know that I've given that a ton of thought in life, but something happened when I was building this home and I inadvertently started decorating it for me and my two boys, and it gave me life. I love a good modern build. I think that they're so fun, and you can be super creative with them. They don't have to make sense. They can be kind of crazy looking and out there. They just have to make sense for you and make you happy. And this made me happy. I also wanted to do something a little more pack friendly. I'm not always the friendliest pack person. Sometimes you just want to use everything because there's so many good pieces like sprinkled in all the different stuff. And so it's a lot of fun to get to use all those things. But I understand the struggle of not having everything because for a long time I didn't. It wasn't a priority to have everything. And I slowly bought everything, and so now I have everything. And sure, there are some regrets. Bust the Dust is literally, are you vacuuming in your builds? Please tell me, because if you are, I want to know, like, how cool are you? And that's honest. I don't play a whole lot of gameplay because I get bored really easy. It's not always the easiest for me to film while playing, between working and caring for a household, taking care of my boys. I have other commitments. Like, life is super busy. So I typically will build a little bit after I get off work in the day, and then I record in the evening. All that being said, I forgot what I was saying. That train of thought really ran straight to the ground. Maybe I'll remember. I saw this build. It was this nice, like, 2-story, but it kind of had a 3rd story. And I was like, this is really cool. And I'd love to, put my spin on it. And that's what I did. Oh, pack friendly. Told you we'd get there. So with that being said, it wasn't a priority for me to have all the packs. Eventually we got there. Eventually it was a priority. And it's something that I wanted to put my extra money towards. Little by little, bought things on sale, and now pretty much all caught up. But with that being said, I know it's not feasible for a lot of people, and I get it. I really do. Before my divorce, we were single income household, was raising my son. I wasn't working. My ex-husband was in between jobs a lot of time, so it wasn't a priority. It's my priority now. I get to make it my priority. That being said, this build is businesses and hobbies, eco lifestyle, because what a great match. I think that eco lifestyle and businesses and hobbies really look nice together. And I needed a cute kitchen. You can't fault me for that. While base game has some pretty kitchens, we just got that update. It's got that newer kitchen in there. Not a whole lot screams modern. You do have the raw vault ones. Those are okay. The cheapest base game, they're fine. They're just fine. But I thought that with eco lifestyle and businesses and hobbies that we could add in the Home Chef Hustle, because I wanted this more modern feel. I really wanted a pretty green kitchen. That was it for me. I had a pretty clear idea of where I wanted everything to go. I also had this idea that this little covered enclosed patio would be somewhat of a greenhouse. If it's got a roof, you can grow any season of plant, and sometimes you need that. So like I said, I started with this kitchen. It's a beautiful kitchen, don't get me wrong, and it serves its purpose really well. I just needed more from it, okay? I wanted to create this really great built-in moment for the fridge because I think that's so fun. Once again, just putting to the fact that, man, maybe I really would like Home Chef Hustle, because Home Chef Hustle, their fridge and cabinets all snap together beautifully, and you'll see in a minute. Obviously, I'm a little ahead of myself, but I just really liked the thought of something built in. It just came together. I do this. I had a Instagram post where people were like, well, one person was like, what are you doing? Because I had 20 couches pulled out while I was talking about something. And I was like, oh, Don't be afraid. I'm just weighing in options of which sofa I want to use. Oh, light bulb went off. You know what I mean? I do that. Sometimes you got to pull them out of that tiny picture and see what you're working with, see how you like everything kind of going together. So I did that with the tables, pulled a couple out and decided I really liked this one. I used the new Businesses and Hobbies bar stools. The table is a bar stool table from Businesses and Hobbies, and it looked so pretty together. But the thing was, the chairs, they have this sleekness that I really like, and the kitchen just wasn't matching. So this was my decision to go ahead and add Home Chef Hustle and make this beautiful little built-in space. Everything just snaps beautifully together. Listen, that corner piece is the bane of a lot of people's existence. I always try to make it work, but it just never does. So what I do is I take two regular cabinets and just overlap them. They do clip, but oh, I'm like flashing. They do clip, but I'm okay with it. I think that it's super pretty to have that full corner. And then I wasn't so sure I wanted to go with the Home Chef Hustle wallpaper, but seeing it with the cute little chairs for the bar table, I liked the pattern clash. The colors went well together. The patterns went well. You had this like geometric print versus like a floral print. I think that it flows well. And then once again, just pulling out all the sofas and everything, I wanted to keep a very cohesive color scheme, especially if I was going to have big, bold patterns everywhere. I wanted it to work well, all the colors just seemingly going together. So I do end up using little armchairs from Businesses and Hobbies. I mean, you're literally just going to hear me talking about eco lifestyle and businesses and hobbies over and over again, because those were the main two, right? I use Home Chef Hustle, but the moment is over. That's in the kitchen. We're in the living room. We're making it work in here. Actually pair it with an eco lifestyle fabricated sofa, which I think is so fun. If you turn on Sheets, so you can turn on bb.show live edit objects, bb.show hidden objects, and you're going to get all the craftable fabrication items from Eco Lifestyle in your build buy. There are some great pieces, and I love that you can get them if you really want them. Where like Crystal Creations, you don't get the jewelry. There's no cheats for you to put in to get the jewelry made the way you want. Sure, you can find stuff in Debug. It's a very like dulled down version. I think you can find the settings. I don't play around with it much. I know about it. I've heard about it. I wish that the things that you can get in CAS that you can make, that you could unlock. Does that make sense? Where I can make this sofa in game, but I can unlock it and have it. I wish the jewelry and the clothing that you could unlock and get in CAS without actually having to go through the trouble of being maxed in that skill. Also, I got a haircut and I love it. I got some bangs and some layers, and I'm just feeling so good. To a certain extent, like I love having longer hair. It starts to feel like a little lifeless, a little drab. I've got thicker hair, so when it's curly or a little unkept, it's all over the place. It needs life in it. So I got a haircut. I don't always go and get haircuts. I used to be a hairstylist, so a lot of times I snip at my own hair. I do my own color actually as well. So it's not always that I find time to get into a salon and get my hair cut, but I did. I have this great hairstylist. I actually used to teach at a cosmetology school, and she was one of my students. And so we've come full circle. I don't do hair anymore. She is thriving, and I love that for her. I stopped doing hair when my son was born. Like, I obviously still do it, right? I do both of my sister's hair. I do my hair, my mom, my aunt. I still do hair for people here and there. Like, it is a love language of mine. It's a skill that I have, and to share it with other people makes my heart happy. Do you have a hobby or something that you know how to do that is your love language that makes you so happy to be able to share with others? I'm curious to know if that's just like a me thing or if it's a universal thing. I won't bore you too much with the windows. We use Eco Lifestyle and we use Businesses and Hobbies. I use a variety of them that come in the gray and wooden swatch. and even just the wooden swatch. And I just like variety is the spice of life. I just try to use a ton of them and just have fun doing it. There's not a whole lot of uniformity in the windows and doors in this build. Well, I mean, I use the same ones over and over again, but there's no symmetry, I should say, as like we're looking at this and there's some symmetry. There's not a lot of symmetry. Backtracking again. But I like that. I think for a modern build, like I said, you can really just have fun and it can be a little crazy, but it still somehow makes sense. And it's a lot of pulling the windows out and seeing what they look like in person, kind of getting them on the house. Wood tones aren't 100% between eco lifestyle and businesses and hobbies, but I think it's a close enough match that it's okay. Your girl's not the greatest at being okay mixing colors, patterns, and wood tones. I'm trying to be. I see some builds out there, like I'll watch Sid Mac, and her ability to use these windows and doors and things that don't match on paper, but somehow just flow seamlessly with the build, it's a skill. And I hope one day to feel more comfortable with that. And so this was like my little like verse into it, if you will, just kind of getting more comfortable with the wood swatches being a little off. I will say that those columns keep disappearing throughout this entire build. And if they do, ignore them. They're the problem children of this build. Minus the windows. Windows are problem children too, because they want to like go gray, you know, where you have to click on them and bring the window back. They like fade into the wall or however that's worded. I've heard someone say that that's a bug because you use boo 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 boo. I heard someone say that that is a bug from bb.moveobjects. I don't know if it is or not. Do you know? Do you know? I don't. And that's okay. I don't need to know. All I know is that sometimes I have to click on the doors and windows so they come back to life. I love a good sunflower. I thought these sunflowers are really cute for the middle of the table, but they didn't fit this pastel vibe. The little tulips were perfect and kind of fun and Eastery, if you will, like that springy vibe. The pastels downstairs give me life. And hopefully it doesn't break your heart, but the only bathroom downstairs is in the master bedroom, and that's okay. It was going to be somewhere you could get to from a main area, but I decided pretty quickly that I wanted to turn this downstairs bedroom into a master bedroom. A little on the tiny side, but you got the big bathroom, so it kind of makes up for it, right? I love this new mirror from Businesses and Hobbies. I use it 3 times in this build. Yeah. We used it in the living room above the little like table, the entryway table. And then we use it in both bathrooms. I use it in black, but I also use it in the living room in this very like wooden tone swatch. So cool because you can also have it in gold and other colors. I wasn't paying attention to the other swatches. The only swatches that mattered were the ones I was using. And I have used the gold swatch, so I knew about that. You know, I playtest all my houses. I have made a point to do so for quite some time. I will say that the dirty laundry on the floor, while it was fun and cute, and I like the idea of having this house that's a little more like lived in the build on the gallery, it's gone. It was in the way of the sim going to the toilet. I don't know how, but it was. And I thought about just kind of moving it more underneath the hamper, but that's no fun. So I just got rid of it. I need to you could put like a plant there if you wanted to. You know, what's kind of fun is that at this point, I wasn't building this house as any sort of dream home or a thought that I would live here. As much as I liked it, it wasn't the original thought, right? And as I'm creating this house, I'm creating it in these colors that I love. You've got these great pastel colors, so colorful and fun. And then you have this really pretty green bathroom. And then I go and turn this bedroom green. I'm a green girly. This was my bedroom through and through. And who needs a big bedroom? I mean, it's usable. Also, in this small space, I should note that we use these cool little not so cube displays. Not good with the names. Sorry about it. And they fit in this tiny little area to make the perfect nightstand. I thought that was so cool. It felt very built in. I could have probably like moved everything a little closer to make it look really built in. That's okay. I didn't need it to feel like uber built in, but it looks like it all flows nicely together. You got that eco lifestyle bed, and then you have the businesses and hobbies little selling stands. Thought it was fun. I put like an alarm clock and flowers or something on the other one. What I did, dressers are gigantic, and this room was tiny. So I took this little console table, and it's my pretend dresser. You don't really need the dresser, because if you needed to use a dresser for any reason, both the kids' rooms have dressers. I mean, not necessarily like 1,000% ideal, but I think that's okay. I really do. I think it's okay. At the end of the day, also, businesses and hobbies have this new wallpaper, the flower swatch. In it is this really fun diamond checkered vibe in this sagey green color. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So I turned it into an accent wall and kind of put a beige wall on the rest. So it looks like it matches really well to the lighter diamond color. Loving the vibes of this bedroom. I should have known at this point that this was my bedroom, that I was just building it for me, because gorgeous. And what's funny is I am not a minimalist. As you can see, I'm trying to like clutter, but I love this bedroom. I think it's so fun. The wallpaper being such a great pattern, I'm here for it. I go ahead and put curtains, like preemptively putting curtains, because I was going to put a big window here. I just hadn't yet at this point. It comes later though. So I just got in place that there would be a window right here at some point, and I knew that that was the curtain I wanted to use. So why not go ahead and put it down? I use a little like menu chalkboard in the dining room area. I thought it was so cute because we have a little chalkboard on our fridge that we can, I say we can, write the menu down. Do we? Well, no. It actually hasn't been written on in quite some time. The last time we wrote on it was the week of my birthday a year ago. I'm not always the best with that, keeping up those kind of things. I have a calendar chalkboard here in my room that I get to, write out every month and have fun with. But I don't seem to keep with a menu. Like, some days I want to cook and be really extra. Some days I don't. And a lot of days I'm very on the go food because I'm gluten-free. I had a terrible allergic reaction that happened in the summertime last year. And since then, my body has decided that gluten is the devil, and I break out on my hands really bad rashes and blisters whenever I eat gluten. It is not the bottom line of what I'm dealing with, but until we figure out why my body is attacking itself, I know that gluten is my enemy and I can't have it. And if I do have it, if I get glutened because we've gone somewhere and I ate something that, whatever the reason, my body attacks itself. So I'm very much like finding things that are certified gluten-free and eating those things. I don't often make a meal. I feel like more along the lines these days, I'm snacking. So like today for lunch, I had like a fruit and veggie plate with some Greek yogurt ranch because I know it's gluten-free and I don't want to risk the pain that comes along with having gluten in my system. Not to bring the vibes down, like I'm really good. I'm okay. All that to say, squirrel, I don't keep the menu on the fridge because I cook for my picky children and whatever they want. And then I take care of my elderly parents. All three little groups eat different foods. So you've got me eating gluten-free. My kids are super picky, so I've got certain foods for them. And then my parents are very old school in the types of meals that they like. So they eat a different food. I can't convince them to go gluten-free with me. It's real rude. It would make my life so much easier. But who needs an easy life? We're building character in this house. All jokes, because I am obviously very blessed. Life throws some curveballs at you, but I've gotten pretty good at baseball. Not really. I'm not good at baseball. Not at all. Actually, if you throw a ball at me, I will probably run away because I'm not good at catching them. Unless you're my 7-year-old who can't throw. In that case, I will not run away and I will do my best to catch it. I think the word we're looking for is anyways. Back to this build. I decided to make this little room up front an office. Real easy peasy. Some bookshelves, a desk, a couple guitars, and a little art easel. I love to paint. I have lots of painted pictures around here. One of my sisters is such a great artist. She paints all the time. She lived in Colorado for years by herself, and she just got really good at painting. So she paints, and I love to do it. I never seem to have time for it, but thus is life. I also play the guitar, not a lot. Like, I'm a beginner, but I have the most beautiful guitar and this really nice retro case. She's gorgeous, and I really need to get back to like finding time to do those other things. I'd love to paint more. I'd love to play guitar more. But in this like day and season of my life, it's not always the most feasible, and that's okay. Boom, there's that window. She's gorgeous. These two like horizontal windows, so fun. I love it. I thought it was so cool. I do change the windows in the living room, as you're going to see. I liked the stacked windows, but I didn't want it to be like too redundant, too many stacked windows. We have problems with this eco lifestyle. Look at that. Look at that. Look. Zoomed in. Okay, wait. No, go back. Did you see the problems with the eco lifestyle? Let's roll that footage one more time. Look, they're beautiful wooden, and then they like show the gray, and then they're wooden, and then they show the gray. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. You're just supposed to have this nice wooden frame around your window. The gray glitch is not okay, but it's fine. It is what it is. It goes away at some angles. Some angles it reappears. It doesn't like make or break the build. I'd like it to not be there, but it's okay that it is. And then because I have this great big stairwell, I kind of had this long window. I wish that we had like a really long window, and I know we do, but because they're on 2 different floors, the window will break. So I just use some smaller windows and create this really cool long window effect in the stairwell. I struggled with the wallpapering of this place. I wanted there to be lots of different textures, different wallpapers all around. And so I just played and played with the wallpapers until I found something that I liked. Because here's the thing. Sometimes you just got to play around with it. You've just got to go back and forth, find the right color, find the right swatch, find the right pattern, just until it looks good. And that's what I do. And that's like the best advice I can give you for when you're stuck wallpapering. I wanted different textures and different designs, but I didn't want it to be overbearing. So if you give it a minute, we get there. I start adding columns to kind of break up the wallpapers a little bit more. I feel like that can help, and it did a little bit in this build, but it wasn't enough. What actually ends up helping the most is when I go in with the wall decorations from Eco Lifestyle that are vertical and horizontal wooden wooden slats, and that helps a ton. It breaks up the house a lot, and we get there. We really do. I do stick to Business and Hobbies stone and their wooden paneled wallpaper. So I'm finally getting in here and adding these wooden slats. And I really like the way that it helps to add more texture to the build, break up the monotony of these long walls. There's no bump outs or anything. It's just this very long, what do they call it? Like a shotgun style house, this like very long house. And I'm just adding these horizontal slots and taking them away where I see fit. I end up taking away that fencing, building a wall, putting the horizontal slats, and then deleting my wall in between. I think it helps to take away some of the busyness in the front of the house. I also decided to go in with solely horizontal slots slats for the house. I just think that it's a little more uniform. There is a lot going on. And while I like it this way, it just made a little more sense to keep some things a little more uniform. I think it was really cool. It was a fun touch. If you've made it this far, I feel like we're friends and we can chat. So I have an allergy to adhesives, and I recently went and got a new tattoo. And for the first time in my life, they used Sanoderm on me, which he tested to see if I had an allergy. So like the whole time he was tattooing me, which was about a 3-hour span, I had Sanoderm sitting on the back of my shoulder and I was fine. There was not any problems. I didn't feel any like stinging, itching. So we decided it was good to go, that it was good to keep the Sanoderm. And so after that tattoo, he put Sanoderm on my tattoo, which is down my arm. I ended up getting some sensitive spots, and now I'm broken out on specific areas of the tattoo, like more like the inside of my arm where that's a sensitive skin. I have hives, very itchy, and I'm very over it. And I know it's a new tattoo, right? So you deal with some itchiness and some swelling and things like that. But we're 2 weeks out at this point, and I'm broken out in hives on a certain part of my arm. And I'm fairly sure it's the Sanoderm. I don't think that the cocoa butter caused an issue. I don't like a whole lot of scented stuff like that, but it was fine to use. However, I am allergic to adhesives, and obviously the Sanoderm is an adhesive. Why I'm telling you this, have you had an issue if you have tattoos that you've had Sanoderm on and it's caused hives? Because I had Sanoderm on for 24 hours, took it off, washed up real well, air dried, and then put on the new Sanoderm that he sent home with me. And so I had it on for another 3 days until I was just having some issues where it was like pulling my skin and causing some sensitivity already. And now I've got this full-on breakout. So I'm struggling with the thought of, do I want to go to the doctor, get a steroid pack and go that route, or just let it be and try to move forward and see if it'll just go away on its own? It's a struggle, and I'm really trying to decide. I hate being on steroid packs. I feel like they make me irritable, and I don't like to live my life like that. I looked at like Allegra for hives. Benadryl makes me so tired. And usually when I have an allergic reaction, that's what I take, and it knocks me out. And I hate that feeling. I'm not about being drowsy. If I could, I would never sleep. Hot take. But if I could, I would never sleep. I often think before I go to bed, like, man, I wish I could just drink coffee and keep going. Why do I need to sleep? There's things I want to do in my life. Why? Why sleep? You know, you gotta sleep. So I do. Reluctantly, I go to sleep. But, you know, just looking for advice if you've had this issue before, if you know something that would help to ease the red hives, the itchy. It's terrible. I don't like feeling like this, and I definitely don't like taking medicine. I like a more natural route of how to take care of my body. So we'll see. I'll probably end up going and getting a steroid pack because I just need to do what's best for me. But if you're watching this and you've made it this far in the video, give me your thoughts. Look, this upstairs being yellow was a little bit of like a joke to myself at first. You know, I don't know what I was doing. I was just like, I don't know how this room is going to look. Yellow. Everything yellow. I went ahead and closed off this upstairs area and put a door. I thought it'd be kind of cool to turn this into a full-on game room. And if this is a game room, maybe you'd want it to be a little more closed off, a little quieter. That way, you know, as you're playing games, watching TV, it's a little quieter for the rest of the house. So then I went into the idea that I would have some like movie posters hanging around. It felt really fun to me. Yeah, it's not yellow, but you know, that's okay. I got this wallpaper from Businesses and Hobbies, and I really liked the navy. Navy and yellow, blue and yellow in general, they are almost complementary colors. Technically, purple and yellow are complementary, and blue and orange are complementary. That's some color theory for you. But they just look so good together. So I ended up making it blue and yellow up here. I was like, I don't know how this fits into the story. I don't know how this makes sense, but it does. I like it. We used a little kids rug in the blue and yellow swatch with the moon and stars, and I just size it up a little bit. And I just kind of dive into everything blue and yellow. And if we're kind of holding true to this thought that you sleep in your bedroom and you have extra stuff like in a game room or in your office, the like extra stuff that you do, then it still kind of holds true that this game room would have things that you would use throughout the rest of the house. I put some gardening tools, you've got your games, we've got books in here, your computer. I end up adding in the activity table, some stuffed animals like the lovely new raccoon. He's so cool. And then I add in a little toy chest. Just these things that you could use, that they could be in your bedroom, but also why not have this really cool landing space that has all the stuff that you don't need in your room? Why not have this really cool landing space that has items in there for your Sims to live? In the bathroom, I kind of kept with the blue and yellow theme. I do brighten up the walls a little bit. I end up just using the Home Chef Hustle, pretty yellow and blue tile, keeping it softer for a kid's bathroom, and then adding the sun because why not? Here we go again. Me just pulling out all the beds for a toddler to decide which bed and where I was going to kind of steer in this room, what was going to lead me. And I end up going with the little dinosaur bed. And Sims has all these great matching items for all the space game toddler stuff. So we use it. I really utilize it. I actually put the toy chest in the game room. But other than that, we use the bookcase, the nightstand, the dresser, the bed. It all goes together really well. So I just try to use as many dinosaurs as possible. And while I was doing this, I was like, man, my 4-year-old, she loves dinosaurs. I love all the Jurassic movies, so Jurassic World, Jurassic Park. I have seen 1 through 6 countless times, and he has too. He loves them. I mean, when he was a little younger, he's like, did the dinosaurs just love people, so they're just giving them hugs and kisses? Yeah, sure, that's what's happening. Yes. He now knows the truth of it all. But he's good with it. He still loves dinosaurs and he loves robots. He loves the Transformers. So they have a toddler show, a little preschool show called Rescue Bots, and he loves them. And it's gotten him into all facets of Transformers. So the actual Transformer movies with the people, and even the old school Transformers cartoon. He's got toys out the wazoo. He just had a birthday. Loves robots. I can't really convey that with The Sims as much as I'd like to, especially being really pack friendly. Dinosaurs is easy peasy. So we just made this room all about the dinos. And I can't wait to show him. I think he'll think it's so fun. We go ahead and add in the nightlight so your kids don't have bad dreams, because I wouldn't want my kids to have bad dreams. And if there was a nightlight, that would make sure that they don't have a dream of any type or sort like that. You can best believe that we would own them. And then we're just kind of adding in some little stuffed animals and everything, just making this room feel really lived in. Base game has this really cool dino wallpaper. We go ahead and use that. It's got the grass and then the little dino border around it. I think it's so fun and just brings everything together. I did notice that after I uploaded this to the gallery when I was playtesting, some of the knickknacks, if you will, disappeared. It is what it is. You don't really need all the extra clutter and all the extra little toys and stuff like that. I just like it. I think it's fun. I'm here for the clutter. And then what Dino Land wouldn't be complete without plants? I would not put plants in his room. I just want to mention that would not happen. There would be dirt everywhere. He would dig in them. There would be like things in them. He loves knickknacks. He's a little tinkerer. He has lots of little like tools and toys, and he sorts them and kind of looks through them, and they would be everywhere. And I just imagine that the dirt would either be on the floor, have toys in it, or both. Because we are doing this for my kids, I decided to use the bunk beds because I just know that it would be very much a Bingo and Bluey situation where the boys would want to be in the room together. They have such a great little bond, even being 3 years apart, that my youngest would definitely sneak over to his brother's room and sleep in the other bed. I kind of reflected that in their bunk beds, where you have colorful space for my oldest son, and then my younger son has blue, which is his favorite color. So I kind of catered those two beds to them. And then my 7-year-old loves all colors. He loves the rainbow. He is very intellectual, very smart, and has always just been really into numbers, colors, science, but just loves all colors. For the longest time, he wouldn't pick one color. You would ask him, hey, what's your favorite color? And he'd say all of them, the rainbow. Now he will tell you, oh, if I have to pick one, it's red. But for a very long time, you couldn't get him to choose a color because he just loved them all. And so I really wanted to reflect that in this bedroom. I wanted to give him all the colors. And I just really can't wait to show them these rooms. I think that they'll really like them. I haven't showed them yet. I kind of just built it, and now we're doing this. And then because he loves science so much, I had to give him the little science table and then add lots of posters. I wanted his room to just feel like a fun love letter to the things that he loves. Now, listen, he doesn't necessarily love The Sims, but he loves video games. And if we were using more packs, you can bet your bottom dollar that that would be that Minecraft poster that's in the game. What is it, high school years? That would be on its walls. But because we're using just a couple packs, we just had to do with what we had to do. Plus, it's colorful, once again, going in that rainbow feel. So anything that had to do with space, science, being a bookworm, there's a bookworm over there, we just added it and just made this room so colorful, so fun. And I even put the new little macrame, the rainbow one, down on the bottom bunk so that it's there for him, that he's got that rainbow right there. He loves the rainbow. It just made me so happy to build these rooms. I would love to do it again with all the packs and see what we could come up with to really cater to them. I have thought about building my dream home in The Sims. I don't know really what my dream home would be, but this is a good start. Really, it is. We are finally in this little tower, if you will. You have to take the ladder to get up to it. And I thought that this was kind of like my zone, if you will. We're adding another art easel. I always forget that this chair exists. It's got the light on it. It's like a still life chair for inspiration for you to paint. So once I saw it the other day when I was building, I was like, oh yeah, I need to add this in and make a point of using it. How many times have I made an artist studio or a little artist spot and could have used that but didn't remember that it existed? At this point, it's time to kind of work on the exterior. I just needed to get a feel for what I would have down in this little fenced-in area of the yard versus upstairs on the rooftop. And I actually got rid of the swing and decided they need this giant spaceship. My kids would think this is so cool. They have a swing set, trampoline, little monkey bar situation in our backyard. But if they could have a giant spaceship to play on, it would change their life. And fortunately, our backyard is just not that big. So like you do, we're just living vicariously through The Sims. And I like that it took up so much space because I wasn't sure what I wanted to put down here. I wish that Eco Lifestyle had a matching fence for this fence, a fence gate for this fence. They don't, but this little base game one comes in gray and I think works well enough that that's what we use. So you can get to your yard through the gate or you can go through the back door. For landscaping, I keep it really simple. There's not a whole lot of extra yard, and that's okay. You don't have to have tons of landscaping everywhere. I do like good landscaping, but I really keep it simple. We use the new tree from Businesses and Hobbies. It's got twinkle lights and then a birch tree that looks reminiscent of the ones in the world. Then we're just taking this big hedge and kind of edging out one side of the house in it. And I really like that. I thought it was really simple but effective. And then around the trees, I just take the low-lying pale yellow flowers and kind of add some greenery just around the bottom of the tree, as if, it's not always the easiest to mow where there might be some tree roots. So maybe there's some little flowers and weeds growing up from around the tree that you got to go get. I don't know. I just thought it was fun. I think it's a nice detail to add a little more realism. And then we're coming down to adding in terrain paint, which is fun. I love terrain paint. I think that it adds some realness to it. No one's yard is like 1,000% full on green. And if it is, man, I can't imagine what you're paying to have that manicured and taken care of. Because not us, couldn't be me. No. But if you do, that's really great for you. But we got a lot of dirt in our yard, which suits my children just fine. They love it. They love playing in the dirt. It's an issue. But, rightfully so. They love it. I love it for them. It's fine. That's why there are baths. You know what I mean? So they can get clean because dirt. They love it. It's a thing. I think it's time that we go ahead and jump into these screenshots. If you like this build, you can have it for yourself. It's Playtested. It's on the gallery. My EA ID is the same as my channel, katxthrash. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and if you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe. We're getting closer and closer to 500, which is really cool. I mean, if you look at it, it's like 420, but that's fine. It's closest to 500 that we've ever been, and it's really exciting. I love building in The Sims. I have so much fun doing it, and I hope you enjoy it. If you've gotten this far in the video, tell me your favorite hobby. I love playing the guitar. I love painting. What do you like to do? I want to thank every single one of you for making it this far, being here. Y'all are literally GOAT, the GOAT, and I really appreciate every single one of you. I hope you have a great night wherever you are. Bye, y'all.